Hello there, Jason Leppert here for Insider Travel Report. We just had an opportunity to preview the Star Wars Galactic Starcruiser, and it is phenomenal. I would even say it's stellar. We have an opportunity to now talk to some of the Imagineers behind the project here. Would you mind just by starting out and saying who you are?
Sure.
And your title, please?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm Wendy Anderson. I'm the Executive Creative Director for Live Entertainment on this project.
Wonderful.
Sarah Thatcher, Creative Director for Interactive.
Great. So how did this concept become a reality? Just kind of a broad picture.
We actually started working on this while we were working on Galaxy's Edge, so I was also over the entertainment for that.
Yeah.
And we knew that we wanted to have stories that aligned with Galaxy's Edge, that fed into Galaxy's Edge, and that gave people a deeper way to go into story and to connect with the land. And then we started developing this whole ecosystem of story delivery that was really, really fun, finding characters that could stand up to and receive from the iconic Star Wars characters that you know and love, but also create invitations for guests to play.
Right.
Yeah.
And it started with this amazing what if process
Yeah.
of, well, what if you could actually spend 2 days in an immersive story?
Yeah.
Think about what the opportunities for relationship building with the characters, for building of your own story, and the connections that we could make over the course of 2 days, and just incredibly rich, and it's been a joy to work on.
It's been an absolute joy. And 2 days and 100 cabins, right?
Right.
So that sense of intimacy and subtlety, I think, is also really important.
Well, that's the thing I find remarkable is that the scale of Galaxy's Edge is so incredible. This is sort of an opportunity to kind of scale that back down a little bit and be a more intimate experience. So can you speak a little bit more about how you yourself as a guest can become a character on board with the data pad? I know you have more of a technology background.
Yeah, sure. So one element that is a key part that as you went through the sampler of the experience today, actually connects those pieces for our passengers is the data pad on Play Disney Parks. So this is an app. It's a mobile app, and it brings your phone to life as a data pad in the galaxy of Star Wars, which allows you to receive not only your itinerary, which is important on any Starcruiser, but also messages, comms from the characters that you meet, and that lets you actually develop a relationship with them. So if you were on the bridge and the captain happened to barge in and really needed to quickly trust everybody on there, she had an urgent detour to take. That urgency and that trust gets followed up on later, and we can see, and you get the opportunity to decide, was her trust well placed, or do you want to take that information that you have learned and turn that towards the use of the First Order. And all of that happens through and when you used the word intimacy earlier, the intimacy of the data pad, having that personal choice. You have these big epic moments, and then these quiet moments of personal choice and engaging in your own path on the story.
And it's also an opportunity for you to choose who's interesting to you, what's interesting to you, and really follow that trajectory. We've seen everything from people who show up and say, I just want to drink cocktails in the lounge and see whatever's happening, and then they wind up being surprised by how invested they get in a character they met in the lounge because they were playing sabacc together, right? Or we've also seen people who come in with a backstory and cosplaying hard and really, really, really wanting to invest and surprising themselves at what track they wound up playing through, right?
That's awesome.
Or what side they picked, I should say.
I was so fortunate to have my nephew on board. He's 11. Came on board one of our test days as we were getting ready for this, and he's a Star Wars fan. He said, I think I want to play First Order, and he's looking for permission. I said, of course you can play First Order. He came on board, he started playing First Order, and then he had this moment of moral conflict when the First Order started asking him to reveal secrets about the other characters that he had,
who could be friends or family in this case,
that he had other characters that he had met, and we had a whole it was a very teachable moment, but really this moment of wow, choosing this thing means betraying some other people. And he really felt his way through that, which was just this astonishing. Wow! I mean, we made some epic some epic Star Wars, but also some epic emotions.
Yeah.
Which was
awesome.
just such an amazing thing to see play out.
Totally.
So since it is a cruiser, was any collaboration with Disney Cruise Line at all on this project?
I mean, I think we looked at, I don't think, I know, we looked at the cruise line model, visited the ships, to see what that itinerary feels like, to see what a passenger feels like. What is it like to load everybody in around the same window of time and have everyone check out at the same window of time? And what are the things you actually want on a voyage that is a vacation, right? So the only thing we ask you to show up doing is to be on vacation, right? And so we wanted to make sure that we had enough that felt like you were able to do that in a well-appointed way, in a high-end way, and then the story starts to happen around those things.
Well, because every time I go on the cruise line, I'm thinking to myself, the kids' facility is incredible. I'm an adult, but I'm a kid at heart, and I really would love to just have at the kids' facility myself, enjoy all that. And I feel like this is really the opportunity for even the adults to have the kids' facility experience. You know,
that's the amazing thing about this, in terms of thinking about scale. Of this is where cruise line is quite large. We're more of a riverboat size, right? We're that boutique scale that actually invites. Every piece of it is for the whole family.
Absolutely.
Is for the whole family, and you know, if you're just bringing friends.
Totally.
So how is this different from just another hotel or anything else that Disney has done for that matter?
Well, I feel like that intersection of live performance and gameplay, the depth of storytelling and the depth of involvement that you can choose to join is unlike anything that actually exists. So to me, it's
unprecedented.
It's unprecedented, and it's deeply not a hotel.
Absolutely. I know. And colloquially, it's called the Star Wars Hotel, but we know it's so much more than that now. We've experienced it. It's like anything else I've ever seen. So it's wonderful.
Awesome.
And then, just to finish up, I'm just kind of curious. Can you hint at any fun Easter eggs that guests might be on the lookout? Something maybe from the franchise, or any favorite tips you might have?
Have you seen the Halcyon Legacy comic that's out?
I heard that is coming. Yeah.
There's one out.
Now. Okay.
I think you should look at those.
Okay. Good tip. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Once again, I've been Jason Leppert for Insider Travel Report. Thanks for watching. Hi there, Jason Leppert here for Insider Travel Report, and I'm here with Matt, is that right?
Yes.
Yeah, and what is your title and position?
So I am a senior creative executive for Lucasfilm.
Wonderful. Yeah, so this is really cool. So how is this design direction for the Starcruiser different and or similar from any other Star Wars project before it?
I mean, it's it's pretty vastly different because I don't think there's anything quite like this.
Sure.
I work on a lot of different Star Wars storytelling, from books and comics to video games and even VR.
Nice.
And so I know the sort of interactive space, but there's really nothing quite like making an actual 2-day real world communal experience that people go through and they're in story the whole time. That you sleep in. We've never had to do that.
Right. That's awesome. So what are some specific elements that guests might recognize from the franchise?
Hopefully they recognize just about everything, because there is kind of a little bit of something from something for everyone.
Yeah,
on
something from the
ship.
Prequels all the way through the sequels.
And what I think is really cool is that because we have the trip to Batuu as part of it, you do kind of get to see both parts of Star Wars. You kind of get to see the high-end, glitzy, glamorous sort of Star Wars, and then you go to Batuu and you get the the more lived-in scoundrel side of Star Wars. And through your story, you kind of see how those things converge, just like in the prequels or just this sequel trilogy or the OT.
Yeah, I was going to ask that very thing, kind of like what was the balance between the grunge of Star Wars and sort of the higher end of Star Wars, and I think you've done a really good job marrying those two on board. Are there any specific elements that you can think of that are a good thing to look out for that?
I mean, the ship itself represents really the sort of high-end glamorous side.
And the story is that it's 275 years old, but it's been recently refurbished, right?
Yes, it's been through a lot.
Right.
So it comes from the High Republic era, which is a branch of storytelling that we're doing a lot in books and comics right now.
Okay. Yep.
Which that was sort of a prosperous time and a time of exploration in the galaxy. But it fell into hard times. It was owned by the Hutts for a while, so it was a bit of a casino ship. After that, the Empire took over, like they do, became sort of a retreat for kind of favored officers, bureaucrats, people that are on Palpatine's good side.
And all this backstory is in the comics and the book series?
So it was all developed for this experience because, when you're developing a ship that people are going to be on for 200 years, people are going to ask questions and we need to have answers. So it was all developed for that, but now it's starting to branch out into things. So we have the Halcyon Legacy comic series, which Marvel Comics is doing, which kind of tells an adventure sort of in each of the eras of the ship's history.
Right.
It's shown up in some of the High Republic storytelling, as I mentioned, and it's also, we recently announced The Princess and the Scoundrel novel, which takes place shortly after Return of the Jedi, and Han Solo and Princess Leia actually honeymoon on the Halcyon.
Nice, so it's canon, folks, there you go.
It is, and of course, Leia and Han can't not be Leia and Han, so
That's awesome.
Shenanigans ensue.
Well, the engineering room on board is very much like the Millennium Falcon, a little more of that grunge, but elsewhere on the ship it's super refined and it's very beautiful.
Exactly. The engineering room, the cargo bay, those are sort of the places where guests aren't supposed to get into, so you shouldn't have been there.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry.
But all of the places where the guests are supposed to get to, definitely a little bit more cleaned up, but of course your story can go a lot of directions, and you may end up in spaces where guests are not really meant to be.
Interesting. So would you say it almost has kind of an escape room vibe in certain parts of it?
To an extent. I mean, it's not puzzly in the way that an escape room is, but it's more of an interactive game, where you're basically, based on your choices, your interactions, your story will change and be different. So even based on what you're doing versus what someone else in your cabin is doing, you may have kind of divergent paths, and you may meet up at dinner and get to talk about, oh, I helped Chewie board. It's like, oh, you helped Chewie board. I was working on the other side of that. You may be working against each other. It's kind of fun.
Now, do you have any personal favorite experience that guests should be on the lookout for?
I mean, for me, it's really the best thing for me is the both the character and crew interactions. This is the direct interactions with people, because it's so moving when you meet a Star Wars character, and a couple hours later they remember your name, they come up to you and they're like, Matt, I need your help. Come over here. And you end up getting swept away in a story, just like you're really in an adventure like that. So for me, it's interact with as many people as you can, and I'm kind of an introvert, so it's funny for me to be saying that, but they
no, I'm too, so
they bring you right into it. It's so fun, and
they do a great job.
They're so personable, and you just you just take them as people.
Right. Well, so there you have it, folks. You can go on the Star Wars Galactic Starcruiser and become a Star Wars character yourself. I have been Jason Leppert for Insider Travel Report. Thanks for watching. Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Great. So Jason Leppert here for Insider Travel Report, and here we are with the chefs of Star Wars Galactic Starcruiser. Would you mind just introducing yourself and what your position is?
Hi everyone, I'm Bobby Rivera. I'm the chef de cuisine for concept development here at Walt Disney World.
Awesome. So what do you have here for us that you can walk us through?
So over here we just have a small fraction of the bounty of food items that we have aboard the Halcyon. Starting down here, we have some more breakfast items. Breakfast and lunch are buffet style, so you have individually plated items that you can mix and match as many as you want on your platter. Starting over here, we have our kale polenta with roasted mushrooms, sausage gravy, and our egg worms. The cool thing about this dish is that one is absolutely delicious, but two is completely plant-based. If I didn't tell you that, there's no way you could ever know.
Interesting.
Over here, more classic, we have our Starcruiser waffle with roasted pork sausage and rolled egg omelette. Classic breakfast right there. Up top, one of my absolute favorites, our potato roasty with a sous vide egg and a rolled candied bacon hollandaise sauce. This is one of my top ones. I get a couple of those every morning. But over here we have our deviled egg. And look how cool and interesting that looks. It's not your typical deviled egg. Beet infused egg yolk, pickled vegetables, and a bed of fluffy egg whites. Too good to eat. Too pretty to eat.
Right.
Our pastry platter, freshly baked pastries every single morning. Matcha rolls, croissants, plant-based muffins. Of course, we have blue milk, so it only makes sense that we have blue milk butter over here. And if we have blue milk butter, we're also going to have blue milk yogurt. Let's start taking our parfait, blue milk yogurt, granola, fresh berries. Awesome. Up top, we have some of our lunch offerings. Again, buffet style, individually plated, mix and match. Our tomato salad, burrata cheese, tomato jam, fresh tomatoes, all garnished with olive oil powder and balsamic vinegar spheres. Our flatbreads, we have a wonderful, super hot pizza oven on board the ship. So our flatbreads are baked freshly throughout the day. One of my favorites, the cottage glazed ribs, fall off the bone tender, kimchi slaw, one of my absolute favorites. Our roasted bora fish, very flavorful, very fragrant, on top of quinoa, chickpeas, and kale. Nice. And of course dessert. We could not have dessert, right? So these are two of our offerings. Our yogurt fruit dessert, very, very classic in the galaxy, in our galactic brownie.
Nice. So what kind of stories are you trying to tell with the food here?
So we're telling the story of the Halcyon through our food. We are, depending on the planets that we're visiting, that's where we get our ingredients. Depending on the characters and the individuals, through your journey, they're going to play a role in what you eat and what's going to end up on the plate.
Awesome.
A great example of that is our dinner offerings over here. So Dinner Night 1 is a dinner and a show, if you will. So
right.
We have Gaia, she is performing with the band, and while all that is happening, we have all these different options coming to your table. Starting over here, we have a bento-style box with 3 different bao buns, are steamed and seared. We have a beef bantha one, a tip-yolk chicken one, and a floral one. Then this box opens up at the table. You have 4 different dipping sauces to go along with all that, and a spiralized vegetable salad. Every single bite will be completely different.
Nice.
This is just the appetizer. Over here, we have the main courses. Bourbon-style glazed chicken, roasted vegetable flora, herb-infused green rice, and a wonderful shrimp tossed in a lobster curry sauce. Super decadent. But the star of the show, in my opinion, will be your bantha beef tenderloin. Very tender, super flavorful, all glazed with this wonderful tamarind glaze on top of moon rocks potatoes. Nice. And of course, you can't have dinner without dessert. And then in front of us, we have our dessert for our first night, a fruit whipped mousse with a chocolate caramel crunch, passion fruit curd, and a shiso gelée.
So that was the Crown of Corellia dining room.
Correct.
And now we're moving over to the Sublight Lounge.
Hello.
And if you mind just introducing yourself and your title, please, for us.
Absolutely. So my name's Evan. I'm the Food and Beverage Concept Development Manager here at Walt Disney World Resort. And so we are so excited and honored to get to share some of the highlights of the Sublight Lounge with you today. So the Sublight Lounge is where everybody wants to be on the Halcyon Starcruiser. It's got hollow Sabat. It's got these beautiful, cozy booths where you can congregate with your friends and really enjoy cocktails, zero-proof libations, and beers and wines in an elegant and high-end experience. So when designing these drinks, some of the things that we really got passionate about are these planetary inspirations. So, have you ever been to Hoth?
I want to go. It's
You want to
It's
go?
on my bucket list. It's on my bucket list.
So I can tell you, Hoth is cold.
Right.
It is icy. It's somewhere that you really have to bundle up. So when
Sure.
you're thinking of something like the Hoth Icebreaker, which is available in the Sublight Lounge, what does a drink from Hoth taste like?
Right.
So this one has notes of a clean, crisp vodka, lemon and bright citrus notes, a vanilla lemon foam, as well as an ice shard from Hoth. And in keeping with this idea of items that are uniquely familiar, passengers have remarked on their home planet that this tastes a lot like what they know to be a lemon drop. And then other things that guests have really gravitated towards within the Sublight Lounge are some of our zero-proof libations. So right here, you'll see the Musa Twist. Have you ever had Musa Fruit before?
No.
Oh, well, Musa Fruit is heralded across the galaxy. Our version has really bright fruit-forward notes. It's also herbaceous, and it's got like a light tingling sensation to it as well. Very refreshing and palate cleansing. So this has some bubbles added to it. It's elegant and uplifted. And the name actually comes from the fun story of how you harvest Musa. So the Musa fruit really has some technique in order to harvest it. So basically what you need to do is you need to grab the fruit, then you pull and twist it really quickly, and then immediately let go. And the reason that you do it is because it has these spikes that disengage that you really don't want to have your hands anywhere near.
Okay.
And so the Musa twist alludes to that act.
Nice. Very cool. Now, I understand the Corellia dining room is going to be, the Crown of Corellia dining room, excuse me, is more of a seating event for a dinner.
Yes.
Now, what are the hours going to be for the lounge?
So the lounge opens in the afternoon because of the days, and is open well into the evenings.
Right.
So guests can enjoy it when you board the ship.
Got it.
As soon as you arrive on the Halcyon, you can enjoy it very soon after you put your things down, and it will go all the way through the evening.
Okay.
And then on the second day of the excursion, it'll be comparable. So maybe after you've had an excursion to Batu, tired, you want to cool off, you can go to the Sublight Lounge, and that will be somewhere that you can enjoy.
And there are snacks you can have there as well.
So there are small bites there, so you can order small bites within the Sublight Lounge. Even if you're in the atrium and maybe had some snacks that you're enjoying, you wanted to bring it in, you can do that. It's really kind of the place where everything's happening, lots of interactions, a great place you want to sit and relax in an elevated space.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for talking to us at Insider Travel Report.
Thank you. We look forward to seeing you on the Halcyon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.